It was 2 in the morning when my phone buzzed on the nightstand. Half asleep, I reached for it, expecting a random work notification or a wrong number. Instead, I saw a message from my wife, Claire. "I'll call later," it said. My heart skipped. She wasn't home that night. She had gone on a business trip 2 days earlier. We had talked before she left, and everything had seemed normal. We weren't perfect, but we were fine, or at least, I thought we were. The message made no sense. Why would she text that at 2 in the morning? I called her right away, but it rang and rang before going to voicemail. I tried again. Nothing. I stared at the screen, confusion slowly turning into worry. 10 minutes later, at exactly 2:10, my phone rang, but it wasn't her. It was the police. The officer's voice was calm but heavy, the kind that carried bad news even before the words came out. "Sir, I'm calling regarding Claire Miller," he said. My mouth went dry. "What happened?" "There was an accident," he said quietly. "We're going to need you to come down to St. Francis Hospital." My body felt cold. I threw on the first jacket I could find and drove through the empty streets, my mind spinning with thoughts I didn't want to face. When I got there, a doctor met me at the entrance. "She's alive," he said before I could ask, "but she's in critical condition." I followed him through the dim hallway, every step echoing louder than the last. When I saw her, hooked up to machines, pale and still, my chest tightened until I could barely breathe. "What happened?" I whispered. The doctor explained that she'd been driving back into town late at night when her car swerved off the road. No alcohol, no speeding, no signs of distraction, just loss of control. "She called 911 herself," he added quietly. "Said she didn't have much time." My head snapped up. "She called?" "Yes." The last thing she said was that her husband should know she's sorry. My knees almost gave out. That's when her 2 a.m. message made sense. "I'll call later." She had been trying to warn me, trying to reach out while she still could. The guilt hit like a wave. I sat beside her, holding her cold hand, whispering things I wished I had said earlier. "You're going to be okay," I told her, though my voice broke halfway through. "You're strong, Claire. Please." For hours, I sat there, listening to the rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor, praying for a miracle. But by sunrise, the steady beep turned into a single endless tone that shattered the room. She was gone. They let me stay for a while. I didn't cry at first. I just sat there, numb, staring at the woman who had been my best friend, my wife, my entire world. Later, as I gathered her things, a nurse handed me her phone. "This was in her bag," she said softly. When I unlocked it, I found one unsent message written at 2:09 a.m., just a minute before the crash. It read, "I was coming home. I wanted to fix things. I'm sorry I made you feel like you weren't enough." I don't remember how long I stared at that message. We hadn't been fighting, but we'd been distant. My work, her travel, our silent dinners, it had all built walls we never realized were there until it was too late. I thought she just needed space, but maybe she needed reassurance. Maybe she needed me to reach first. Weeks passed before I could look through her things. One day, I found a small envelope tucked inside her nightstand. On the front, it said, "For when you're ready." Inside was a note in her handwriting. "If you're reading this, it means life got too short for us to finish what we started. Don't let regret be what keeps you company. Keep living, please, for both of us." That night, I drove to the hill where we used to sit during summer sunsets. I brought her note, her photo, and the ring she'd once taken off during our hardest days. I buried them under a small tree and whispered the words I should have said that night she left. "You were always enough." Since then, I've kept her message on my phone, unopened but always there, a quiet reminder that love isn't measured by how long it lasts, but by how deeply it changes you. And every time my phone buzzes late at night, I still look at the screen half expecting her name, because part of me believes that somewhere she kept her promise. She did call later, just not the way I expected.